Hello and welcome, and we are reviewing Little Women. Little Women is written and directed by Greta Gerwig and is based on Louisa May Alcott's novel. The story is about Jo March, who reflects back and forth on her life, telling the beloved story of the March sisters, four young women, each determined to live on their own terms. The film's leads are Saoirse Ronan and as Jo March, and Florence Pugh as Amy March. So, my previous experience with Greta Gerwig's films have been Lady Bird, which I had a somewhat of an enjoyable time with the film. I felt like as if the third act kind of capitulated in a sense. Not enough to take away from that film of it being a great experience, but it did, for whatever reason, I can't remember why, but I didn't feel a wholesome feeling. And did I feel the same feeling I had with Little Women? No, I didn't. I had a great time with it. I think this film chooses. I'll say that Little Women has good pacing. There's never really a moment that you feel like as if you're being taken out of the film, and it chooses moments with the good pacing to floor the characters. In particular, I think that the relationships between the friendship slash relationships between Jo March and Amy March, between Florence Pugh and Saoirse Ronan, that it really does captivate the screen. And I thought that the scenarios and situations that took place between those two sisters were quite crazy and quite funny, all in one. And I think as well, I think it was fun watching Florence Pugh do a role like this, because I am a Florence Pugh fan. I enjoyed Midsummer a lot, and I follow her on some of her socials, and she's kind of a devil-may character, kind of away from acting. So to see her play a character that's kind of bewildered, a little bit tad crazy, and I think this was a kind of tailor-made role for Florence Pugh, and I'm happy to see that she's got the recognition that she's got, by landing herself a supporting actress Oscar nomination, which is brilliant. Although I do think she should have got it for Midsummer, but hey, that's a story for another time. Timothée Chalamet, hey look, I don't think he can do any wrong. I think he is. I think it's too early to be saying is he the second coming of Leonardo DiCaprio or is the second coming of Daniel Day-Lewis. I think it's too early to say that right now. I'm sure he's flattered by those compliments, but at the same time, he still has a long career ahead of him. Your early 20s as an actor, that's like their baby is, in a sense, in my opinion anyway. Any actor will tell you the same thing. So he's definitely got more years to take a real hold of his craftsmanship. But yeah, Timothée Chalamet is great. Florence Pugh is great. Saoirse Ronan, if I'm pronouncing that name wrong, I'm sorry. And I think in particular what I liked about Little Women, I think there was a really nice blossomed relationship between the characters of Jo March and Beth March. I felt that felt really well earned, and I felt like there was some great hidden subtext exposition with their character arcs that really held some great empathy and some great conflict that ultimately just kind of breaks your heart, in a sense, when it gets to the third act of the film. Now, that's not a spoiler in a sense, because if you haven't seen the film and you kind of remember what I've just said about the third act, it's something that you think is going in a certain direction, but it just isn't. And I think that's purely down to Greta Gerwig's solid writing and her directing. So I really commend her for that. I think there's some great cinematography and some great product design. If there was anything that I would say that is kind of a disdain against the film, is that I don't know what it is, but when it gets to the third act of any film I watch that is of Greta Gerwig's, it feels like the wheels are starting to fall off a little bit, you know. And I'm not talking Fanatic level or Cats level stuff here. It's nowhere near that ordained whatsoever. It's just things that don't, in her writing, that don't stitch up with the character's motives. Now, the character of Beth March goes on this character arc. I always feel like a character's motive should always come from an event. And with this film, the motive comes, but we never see the ideology of where she's... We never see her actually being flawed to then have the motives. And it comes between a conversation between Saoirse Ronan and Laura Dern. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, yes, you can think like that, but the film doesn't. The film didn't really depict to me show, more a thing of show, don't tell. And I feel like fundamentally, in a backstory narrative, on the first person narrative, I enjoy stories like that because you get to see the characters being flawed and then the motive take place after, and then we know where their headspace is and where they're going to go on their journey. But I didn't feel that with this film, and it felt a little bit on the nose, you know, in that moment. And I was like, you know, the film has built some great character development, and then it comes to this one moment in particular with Beth March, and it's like, I wanted this film to be, you know, obviously I always intend for a film to always be good, but to have that there, it just annoys me, you know. I just think to myself, why, you know? But fundamentally, with a script, you're always going to have problems. You're always going to, any writer can fall asleep at the wheel, you know. But on the whole, it is a really good film. Cinematography is great. The product design is great. Costume, I mean, I can't remember whether or not the film's been nominated for Oscars for its costume design or its product design. I think those were really good. Cinematography is nice as well. Gives a really nice, there's a very aesthetically pleasing look to the film. And also, one scene in particular that was really took me away. I was just lost in the shot completely. A conversation takes place between Joe and Beth on the beach. I mean, you couldn't have shot that any more beautifully. So, with all that being said, I will be giving Little Women an 8 out of 10. It's a good film, it's a solid film. I would rewatch it again. It's worth your time. And good luck to Florence Pugh in the Oscars. And guys, click here if you want to see my review for The King that stars Timothée Chalamet. That film is criminally underrated. I think you should check out that review and also check out that film because it's really bloody good. And also click here if you have not seen my Midsummer review that stars Florence Pugh as the lead actor. And Midsummer, in my opinion, is the best horror film I have ever seen. And you can take that with a pinch of salt if you want. So anyway, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Check out the description for all the January videos that I've done of this month. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. See you next video.